You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert at Goose Insurance, and Stryker Roofing. And now your host, real estate broker, team leader, best-selling author, coach, consultant, and speaker, Todd Tramonte.
Welcome, folks. Welcome to Texas Real Estate. We are talking all things residential real estate across the great state of Texas. We might even talk a little bit of Louisiana today with recent storms and craziness and recovery and real estate markets as well. I spent some time away from the office and the team and the studio this week and had some really interesting conversations about the real estate market as a whole and where people's heads are. Man, there is fear in the air, boys. There is fear in the air when it comes to the election. There's fear when it comes to the seasonality of the market. Usually I've got my finger right on the pulse, but I was a little bit surprised at the amount of fear in the market right now. I'll say those people are not regular listeners of our show because we try our very best every single Saturday right here to alleviate that fear, to remove the hesitation and the concern and the unknowns for you. A confused mind almost always says no, or almost always does nothing. We don't want you in the camp of doing nothing, right? Unless you're just absolutely thrilled with your home and your situation, then by all means stay where you are and enjoy it. But if you're wanting to buy, sell, invest, improve, protect your home, we are here to help you make the right decisions for you and your family and your finances. And when I say we, I've got the boys with me today, full studio. We've got the one and only Yanni Donnie, the English wonder. We've also got producer extraordinary, the young MG, Mason Goss, behind the audios and the videos. We've got the whole crew here. We'll get to it real quick. Ian, how English would you say you're going to be today?
Well, it's good to be back. Missed everybody last week. So let's just go with full-on American, y'all.
Full-on American, y'all. Hope you caught that. Y'all. Straight out of England, y'all. We've got the young MG. He's got a microphone. Let's let him use it for just a second. Welcome, Mason.
Thanks for having me, Todd. I'm all over the mic today. I usurped Ian's position last week, and I got raving reviews. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't receive personally. I didn't get any of those reviews. Maybe all those reviews went directly to Mason, about Mason.
From Mason's head.
From Mason, possibly.
Maybe my wife.
Maybe it was his wife. I think she loves him either way, which is the right way to handle it. No, we had a great show last week. If you missed it, Mason, where could someone find some of the best nuggets from last week's show?
That's the favorite question to be asked. tthst.tv. Easy to find on or on the radio website.
That's right. So you
as well as our recommended pros.
That's right. You can go to treradio.com. That's short for Texas Real Estate. That is the website for the radio show. Very simple site. Just trying to get you the best info we can as directly as possible. And it links to our YouTube channel, which you could go directly to at tthst.tv. That's short for Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team. And that's what we do all day, every day, all week, all month, all year, helping hundreds of DFW area buyers, sellers, and investors figure out their real estate questions and get their needs met.
Let me ask you a question, Todd. How many videos would you say we're adding on a weekly basis to the tthst.tv?
Our YouTube channel gets probably 5 new videos a week. Some weeks it could be as many as 10. It's never less than 2 or 3 or 4. You're going to get a couple of the best nuggets from the radio show. You're going to get a local market report, and then you're going to get some success stories from people that are out there in the market winning, whether they're buying, selling, or investing. And then you never know what other major item might be happening in the real estate market or in the news here locally or nationally that we want to comment on or give you some guidance on. There's also some fun, silly stuff that happens on there, restaurant reviews and things like that, events and cool stuff from different cities and towns around the Metroplex. Tons and tons of content there. If you or a friend or family member is thinking about moving to the area or within the area, there's over 700 videos on our YouTube channel, whether they're out there publicly, or whether those are available to be delivered based on your request for a specific need. If you have a specific need around residential real estate, buying, selling, investing, maintaining your property, fighting taxes, or anything like that, you can always reach out to us online anytime, day or night, throughout the week. Doesn't have to have anything to do with the radio show. You can reach out to us at overunderagent.com. Overunderagent.com. That's a weird website, so let me explain real quick why, and then we'll get into your questions. Overunderagent.com is the website because we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. That's over the average price and under the average time. And's a key word there.
Big word.
Because theoretically, if we determine what the average price is now and we waited long enough, you could probably sell any house over that 5 years from now. You could also sell almost any house under the average time if you priced it low enough. But when you say and, now you're talking about something worth achieving, something that could be really challenging. Over the average price and under the average time. That's our guarantee to anyone who we choose to work with and who chooses to work with us in the DFW Metroplex. And oftentimes we can go beyond that. We certainly can help you find a great agent who can offer similar results anywhere in the world. And we do that all the time. And a lot of times our radio listeners will text us at our office number, 214-310-0008. And they'll just say, hey, could you guys help me find an agent in Miami or in Des Moines or whatever? And we will gladly put in some time to call some of our contacts and filter someone that would be best for you in anywhere in the world. So you can call or text 214-310-0008. Now, I know you've got some questions. This first segment is brought to you by the guys over at Stryker Roofing and Construction. Any of your roofing needs, whether you've experienced hail or rain or wind, they've got a huge crew actually over in Louisiana right now, really helping in a significant way with the recovery. Now, obviously, they're over there, helping people put roofs on their houses, but they're also feeding folks and caring for folks. I spent some time with one of their owners, Johnny, last week and was just really encouraged by the way they're legitimately loving on people. Yes, they're selling roofs, but they're absolutely going over and above. They've got 7 guys living there in temporary trailers, spending like 18 hours a day, helping out, right? They're not putting on any roofs right now. They're getting future business, but they're also just caring for the people primarily in the Lake Charles area. So Stryker's a good company. They're good people. If you need roof work, StrykerBuilds.com, BUILDS, StrykerBuilds.com. If you want to call them, 844-243-ROOF, 844-243-ROOF. Make sure you tell them the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team sent you. And now, your questions.
Yeah, excited for today's show, Todd. We're going to get into some questions. We're going to talk a little bit about some really, really cool success stories that we've had over the past week or so. But make sure you go over to valuethishouse.com where you can get your home valuation in less than 60 seconds. If you have not done this in the past 30 days or so, you absolutely need to go to valuethishouse.com and you will get a valuation. It's going to tell you what it would rent for, what it would sell for, and somebody on our team will reach out and just see if you want something a little bit more customized. We'll do that for you. Absolutely no fee, no cost for us to do that. We're happy to do that so that we can deliver great value for you. Valuethishouse.com. Okay, first question that we got asked by one of our clients this week was, it's kind of a tricky one, but how do I find out if a neighborhood is okay? Like, are there places I can go to find out, is it safe? Like, where do I go and get information?
So this is a challenging question to answer for a real estate licensee. Now, it's a very simple answer. I'll give it to you here in a second. But the reason agents are often a little skittish about this question is because there are ethical boundaries and laws and rules about whether an agent is able to prefer or favor any protected class, right? Whether that's racial or financial or ethnic background or geographic or whatever the case is. An agent actually, I won't say can't, but I'll say probably shouldn't really tell you what their preference is. They should help you find what your preferences are. And that's where the answer to this question is a little bit complicated. When someone says, where are the good neighborhoods? My answer is a question. Tell me what makes up a good neighborhood for you. Now, A great agent, and David on our team is an excellent agent, and he gets this question a lot. We were talking about it earlier. The question usually comes before that initial sit down. On our team, we're going to sit down and have what we call an initial consultation, which is really us asking a lot of questions, not hard questions, just, hey, tell me about what you're dreaming about. Tell me what excites you. Tell me what you want. Not just bedrooms and bathrooms, right? But, if you travel, what makes your family feel safe? What do you want to be near? What do you want to not be near, right? A client can want whatever they want. An agent cannot tell a client to want what that agent wants. That's kind of inappropriate boundary to cross. So when it comes down to it, people typically want to know school ratings, crime rates. The walkability score is kind of like, what's within walking distance. There's some scores around green spaces and public spaces. Most of that is available with a quick Google or Bing search, right? It's like, hey, nearest grocery stores, crime rate, school ratings. I almost always defer that our clients check out those sources because based on licensing rules, I'm oftentimes not even allowed to give you my personal opinion about those things. And by the way, my opinion is not always really relevant because we don't necessarily have the same values and criteria around what makes a quote unquote good neighborhood. You might love a school that has certain scores, test scores. Someone else might love a school that has certain sports success. Someone else might love a school that has a certain, socioeconomic makeup, right? Now, some people might say that some of those things are right or wrong, but that's not up to the real estate agent. That's up to that buyer or seller. It's a free country. Whether we all agree or not is not the question. The question is, how do we get them what they want? How do we help them determine if that neighborhood meets what they want? And a lot of times it's deferring to some reliable, accurate, informative online resources.
Well, it really begins with having what we call an initial consultation, right? Beginning to formulate a game plan for somebody so that we're able to go and find them something which is exactly what they're looking for, as opposed to just being what a lot of times in the real estate industry, people have just been door openers, right? It's like, right. Oh, just open this door, open this door, open this door, and don't really get to know the client.
Well, and again, that we call it an initial consultation, right? A consultative approach means we're asking a lot of questions so we can understand your needs. Whereas a lot of agents, and truth is, I'm hard on agents because a lot of agents aren't very good, but a lot of clients don't even really know what they want, right? They think there's a universal answer to good neighborhood. They're not being, discriminatory. They're just assumptive. They're just kind of, I wanted to say lazy in their thinking. It's not lazy, but stereotypical, right? Just kind of like, well, I just kind of felt like it always goes this way. Good neighborhood means good scores and low crime and blah, blah, blah. But different people want different things.
Yep. It's great. Let me ask you this, not one we cover very often. Are solar panels a good investment?
Okay, so we've answered this a couple of times. It hasn't come up in a while. And the only reason I bring that up is because every time I answer this, I get negative feedback. But I'm going to answer it honestly again anyway. The answer to this in our current market for real estate purposes is no. Solar panels are not a great investment. Now, if you are going to be in a home for a very, very long time and you prioritize alternative energy sources or the long-term financial benefit of solar, then by all means, they are a good investment for that purpose, right? But this is not personal. I'm not anti-solar, but the solar panels themselves and the fact that they're almost always leased, those are the problems from a real estate perspective, from a resale perspective. The panels, the install, the removal, hail, roofing prices, inspections, buyers having to take over lease payments, that's where it gets in the way. And it almost always causes problems in selling the home. Buyers, because of the complexity of all that, tend to just move on to something else. They don't want to take over the seller's lease. They don't want to take on the liability. Their insurance company doesn't like it. Their coverage may or may not cover replacement or removal. If a roof needs to be replaced, the insurance company is not going to pay to take the solar panels off, replace the roof, and reinstall them. There's a lot of complexity there.
How much does it affect home value?
So I cannot give you a mathematical answer to that. What I will tell you is it affects it negatively, and the impact is more make or break than it is percentage-wise, right? Some buyers are just like, that's complicated, skip it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, if I had to just guess at a percentage, I would say it's probably like a 1 to 3% hit, and that's significant on a $300,000, $500,000, $600,000 house, $2 million house. You don't see solar on a lot of entry level homes just because financially it's an expensive install, even on a lease. But I would ballpark it at 2 or 3%. But again, the bigger issue is it's just a barrier altogether. A lot of buyers just simply won't even consider it. So they just skip the house altogether.
Last question on solar: is there an amount of time where if somebody's thinking about it, they need to be like, hey, you can do it, but you need to be in the house for probably 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
So this is what makes it hard. The answer is no, because we're still figuring this stuff out, right? Solar is not a new technology, but solar is a new technology. What I mean is solar is getting better and better and better all the time. So brand new solar panels are really for the public market, for the for-profit market, they're sold based on savings, right? You will over time recoup your energy costs. They're really sold hard on at some point, maybe you can sell energy back to the grid, right? Now there's all sorts of rules and laws, and there are some incentives, and they're almost always sold based on incentives. Like you can put them in for no cost if you qualify for 17 grants, all these kind of things. And again, I'm not anti, but I don't like the complexity of it in regards to real estate. But typically, the number that I used to hear people say was 12 years. Like you're not going to even break even for 12 years. Now I'm being told that number has come down. Elon Musk is a primary investor in a company called Solar City, and then Tesla kind of partnered and put out some roofing material that is also solar. Right now, I feel like that kind of stuff could change the game of solar, where you don't have ugly solar panels bolted to shingles. You have attractive roofing material that is also solar collective, built on really efficient, lower cost battery systems. So that's all being fleshed out, but it's extraordinarily expensive on the front end right now. So recouping the cost at the moment is almost always longer than the average homeownership tenure, right? So if people are selling every 7 or 8 years, we still haven't kind of crossed the threshold where solar pays for itself in less than that in the broad spectrum. I'm sure there are solar experts who would argue with a lot of what I just said because it's changed in the last month or two and I don't know yet. So I'm acknowledging I don't know everything. But from a real estate resale perspective, you can take what I'm saying to the bank. We are not there yet where it's an automatic positive. We're just not there yet.
Okay, later on in the show, we're going to find out a little update, some shark news from Barbara Cochran. It's going to be pretty fun, something that was going on there. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show, along with some really, really, really cool success stories that we've got. Hey, right now, though, go over to valuethishouse.com. Valuethishouse.com. Get your home valuation in less than 60 seconds. If it takes you more than 60 seconds, I absolutely give you permission to email Mason at toddtramonte.com, and you can just complain to Mason if it takes more than 60 seconds. Yeah. But it will not. I'm going to see how many we get, but it will not take you more than 60 seconds. I promise you. Less than 60 seconds. Valuethishouse.com. Okay, now that we're going into the fall, you feel some of those temperatures this past week?
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. Thursday especially, amazing. Now that we're going into the fall, should I be waiting until the spring to be able to go do something?
Nope. Next question.
Since you know, how about am I going to get the same value during the fall as I would in the spring?
Yes. Next question. No,
all right, let's keep it going.
So this is where I open the show with there's a lot of fear in the market, even more than I would think. Right now, I'm obviously aware that there's always a certain element of fear, and in a year with COVID-19 and stock market volatility and murder hornets and presidential elections and all the insanity of 2020, I mean, just let's stop for a second and just imagine the moment that our kids tell their kids about the year 2020. First of all, I hope they're only telling them about 2020. I hope it's not like this decade. I hope this stops. But you know what I mean? That's just going to be like, dude, it was just the craziest year of total nuts insanity ever. But anyway, as far as real estate concerns, because of the craziness of the spring started late. Our summer market was more of a spring market, and our summer market hasn't ended yet. So I think our fall in some ways will feel like a sort of tempered summer. And what I mean by that is it'll be tempered by there are logical reasons we have slightly less overall real estate activity in the fall, right? People are in school as opposed to being out of school. Fall activities for whatever are actually happening, virtual or real right now, tend to be one of the busier times of year for all of us, right? So there is a reason that real estate overall slowly, kind of steadily declines towards February. But this year, I think we are going to get an unfair share of fall real estate business. Now, we're already seeing that. We did see, and I've been talking about this a lot on the show and with our clients, we did see a prolonged back to school period. And really, we're not completely finished with that. This week, a lot of districts went back to in-person school that started the year virtual.
Our children were so excited.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled for, the families that feel good about it and are doing that, and their kiddos are getting to see friends and teachers and all that. And I'm also thrilled for the people that feel great or feel better about virtual and are hopefully getting to take advantage of some of the benefits of that as well. So we're good either way. But that has caused sort of this week to be again back to school. And now we'll probably have another week or two of an adjustment period to drop-offs and pickups and, nurse notes and all that stuff. So back to school is not over yet, but we're beyond that initial wave of like, it's a bazillion degrees outside and it's back to school and summer's wearing on us and we're trying to get those last summer activities in and all those things. So we're already seeing good momentum into the fall. I think up until Thanksgiving, it's going to be an excellent time to buy or sell. I would not wait. Now, I wouldn't necessarily wait after Thanksgiving, but I would definitely switch my strategy. If you're working with the Todd Tramonte home selling team, we're going to lead you with a different strategy, a great strategy, by the way. I personally buy and sell all of my own homes during fall and winter, and last year even bought a commercial building during that time because we feel really strong that as a buyer, there are massive advantages to the fall and winter months. And as a seller, if you're heads up with the right strategy, you don't have to give up much of anything either. So it can be a great time to do both. So that's the longer expansion of my shorter answer of, should you wait? No. And will value stay strong? Yes. How about that?
It's great. Follow-up question on it. Since inventory was insanely low this past summer,
yep.
Do you feel as though some of that inventory may come back over the winter period, or do you feel like it's going to be even lower than it would normally be?
My gut, and this is gut, I mean, the data says inventory will try to creep up, but buyer demand will not go down much. So we'll basically stay at the same levels we are now, but for different reasons.
Okay.
I agree with that. My gut says we are going to see inventory dip, and I think that's because of some COVID impact. I think when cold and flu season hits, there will be a kind of an initial shockwave. Some people won't put houses on the market that otherwise would have, and that will ripple all the way back until next spring, which will prolong our really hot, really strong market. We'll be back with more Texas Real Estate on WBAP.
Welcome back to Texas Real Estate with your host, real estate expert, team leader, and best-selling author, Todd Tramonte.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's take some more questions. Let's tell some more stories. Let's bring optimism and reality into focus. Let's cut out all the garbage and the fear and all the baloney and the manipulation and, to be honest, the ignorance that exists in our market right now. If you're thinking about buying a home and you want to get that done between now and the end of the year, do that. If you and your family and your finances are ready, get it done. Don't let all the bogus headlines and political fear-mongering keep you from what you've been working and saving and planning and hoping and dreaming and praying to get done. We're here for you. Now, on the other hand, if you and your family and your finances are not ready, don't be so panicked and fearful that waiting is the worst thing in the world. We're in a market that is good and should remain good for both buyers and sellers for a while longer, at least. A while meaning into the spring. Now, can that change? Of course that can change. Do I believe that this presidential election is going to just tank the market one way or the other? No, I don't. We'll get into a little bit more of that later on. But I want to tell you right now, real quick, we're brought to you by Patrick Glaros and his team over at Cardinal Financial. For any of your residential mortgage needs, do what my wife and I do. Go to patrickglaros.com or just give him a call, 972-728-3420, 972-728-3420, or patrickglaros.com. That's GLAROS for all your mortgage needs, whether it's a primary home, an investment, refinancing, patrickglaros.com. If you don't want to buy or sell a home, that's great. That's awesome. Enjoy your home. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy time with family, friends. Enjoy rest. Enjoy food. Enjoy gatherings. Enjoy privacy. All the beautiful things that a home can create. Just don't let the media, don't let the hype, don't let the fear push you to do something other than what's best for you and your family. Now, I think we ought to talk a little bit about how clients of ours lately are just dominating this market. I'm talking buyers buying below value, sellers selling above value, our agents coming back to the office and celebrating appropriately the massive, massive wins of home buyers and home sellers in our local market. So we want to tell you a couple of those stories here in a minute. We just want to tell you about folks just like you living in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, McKinney, Frisco, Aledo, Weatherford, Keller.
Waxahachie, we got them.
Passamaquoddy, that's not a city, but that's what I think of every time someone says Waxahachie. Left, right, up and down, all over the Metroplex, huge wins. Of course, we are not ashamed to let you know that our agents at the Todd Tramonte home selling team were involved. But more importantly, I want you to hear that other homeowners, other folks planning and preparing to be homeowners are getting out there, getting it done, and having incredible success, phenomenal outcomes right now in the current market, during coronavirus, during COVID-19, during a presidential election, during stock market volatility, during the craziest year of most of our lives. They're deciding that they can, they're getting great leadership, and they're getting it done. And you can too. If you know you're ready to do that, then call or text us at 214-310-0008. That's the phone number for the Todd Tramonte home selling team, where we work all day, every day, all week long. You can call or text 214-310-0008. Or you can go online to overunderagent.com, because we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Overunderagent.com.
Todd, if someone is out there thinking, what's my home worth? What the heck is this home worth? Where did they go?
Probably the library. Maybe they could get some sort of abacus type device and do a lot of hard work. Or I just thought of it. They could go to valuethishouse.com and in under 1 minute, find out what their home would sell for or rent for in this current market. Current, up-to-date, automated, less than a minute value of your home. Now, if you want some more details, just reply to that email and say, custom please, and we'll be glad to have one of our experts do that for you at no charge. But under a minute at valuethishouse.com.
So glad you said Waxahachie when you were naming all those cities, because I have a great story from Waxahachie, Todd.
Okay.
The average in the neighborhood of this particular home was right around $255,000.
Okay.
The sellers were actually just hoping that they could get $250,000. They would have been thrilled.
Time out. Reasonable sellers. What a beautiful thing.
Yep, right? Absolutely. How does $287,000 sound?
Sounds high.
How about in just 2 days?
To be honest, Ian, it sounds a little bit unbelievable. You could have said that no matter what. Is that actually real?
But wait, there's more. How about the buyer pays for the title?
policy.
Yep.
Title insurance policy. That on that house, probably around $2,000.
And how about, I'm just going to throw this one in there too, how about a free lease back for our sellers?
Sellers did not have to pack up all their belongings before receiving funds for their home?
That would be correct.
Wow. Now, here's the deal.
All true, by the way. All true.
I'm joking about it because it does sound like, oh, well, that went perfectly. But that was was that John or Jeremy?
That was actually Jeremy.
Okay, so Jeremy on our team, that's one of his clients. I believe a radio listener, just like you, who called in, spoke with us, met with Jeremy, and just slam dunk, home run. What sports metaphor? Hole in one? What else? How far can we go? Knockout punch?
Sure. Slam dunk?
I already did that one, but it's okay. It's NBA playoffs. You can do it twice. So anyway.
Penalty kick?
What do you call a made penalty kick?
The goal.
A made penalty kick.
Let's call it a goal.
And that was your football minute. English soccer, European EuroLeague. Anyway.
FYI, we didn't mention that at the beginning of the show, but Middlesbrough did have a victory, first victory of the season. So I know there's a lot of people meant to
which means it's time to say, everyone grab your mics. What do we say now?
We say up the borough.
Up the borough.
Yeah, up the borough.
Up the borough.
I'll make sure we do that at the beginning of the show next time.
You know, Mason had a mic and just didn't even use it. Yeah. All right, folks, that's a real story. And here's the deal. The hero of that story is the client, right? It's the person that trusted us to believe that these stories are real, reached out, met with Jeremy. I think the initial meeting was virtual. Most of our initial meetings are virtual right now. We give you appropriate distance. You can ask all your questions. We can ask all of our questions, and we can decide if it makes sense to work together. And then obviously got everything, connected and taken care of out at the property. And within a matter of days, just absolutely dominated the transaction. The client walks away with
$32,000 over the average price,
plus a couple $1,000s worth of title policy, plus a couple $1,000s worth of a lease back. So
in 2 days,
$35,000 to $40,000 for hiring a true leader, for hiring an expert, for getting Jeremy, who's a killer on our team. We got stories from every team member all the time, but we tell you these stories for two reasons. Number one, you can do that too. Number two, we can do that for you and with you. Go to overunderagent.com. If you would like to be one of these success stories as a seller or buyer, anytime in the future at all, but especially if you're thinking about doing that in the next year, we would absolutely love to get a game plan together with you now so that it isn't rushed and so we can maximize all of our strategies.
Quick question for you. This was a question from somebody that says, hey, look, if I'm paying $700,000 for a home, should that home not have a swimming pool?
I don't know who asked this, so I'm going to be very careful how I answer that, but it's a bit of a dumb question. And a lot of our teachers in elementary school told us that there's no such thing as stupid questions, but we've all heard them. You've received a dumb question before, and I'm being a little bit silly here. But the point is, when you're paying $700,000 for a house, you can generally get, in Texas anyway, you can generally get whatever you want. And so if you don't want a pool, then there isn't a pool. So not every house has a pool, right? If you have a $700,000 budget, no big deal. We'll find you another one. And again, I'm being a little bit silly, but here's how I would reword that question. With a $700,000 budget, if you want a pool, well, you can definitely get a pool, right? If you want a pool, you should definitely get a pool if you have $700,000 to spend. Now, in some areas of the Metroplex, that's a small budget. In other areas, it's a huge budget. In a lot of areas, it's just right. The point is, it's plenty of budget in North Texas to get a beautiful home on a great property in a good area with a nice pool. But there are multi-million dollar homes that don't have pools because the builder or owner of that home doesn't want a pool. And once you get over about $400,000 in most areas of the Metroplex, there aren't very many features of a home, of the structure, that are going to be out of reach for you, right? You might not have the same lot size or location, but there's going to be some, but there aren't going to be many, right? I mean, you can have 2, 3, 4 garages. You can have a good sized lot. You can have a pool. You can have a hot tub. You can have a guest home if you want. The point is, at $700,000, you can have that feature, but not every home at $700,000 is going to, because not everybody wants it.
Ready for our Barbara Corcoran update?
Hey, yo.
Come on. Babs.
She put out she's putting out a lot of socially distanced videos from her apartment. And this week she sent some stuff out from her beach house that was I hate to acknowledge it, but she's funny.
Oh, it's been a really fun thing,
She's
just kind of following her on that stuff. Well, she just sent a really, really nice message to the team, just saying, hey, look, thanks for giving me the inside scoop on DFW real estate, Todd. Like, you really know the market well. Tell the team I said to keep up the good work. It's so encouraging when we see that and we get told that, because, you know, she's been a really great partner with us on just seeing what we're doing and just continually encouraging the team.
Yeah, she's fun and she gets it. I mean, she made her money selling her real estate brokerage in New York City. They're still the number one brokerage in New York City. She cashed out a while ago and became a shark. She's a big deal now, and an author and a speaker and all sorts of stuff. She's awesome. But I appreciate her acknowledgement of the team. And she goes on Good Morning America and all these local news stations. And when she does, she reaches out to agents that she trusts around the country. So from time to time, I'll get an email from her, or sometimes it's from her team. And it's like, hey, Barbara's going on GMA tomorrow. And I'm like, what's GMA? Oh, yeah, Good Morning America. And
wait, what's GMA?
Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I'm not a big watcher. Sorry, Barbara. Sorry, Babs. So anyway, she'll say, hey, I need some data on, what's happening in the Dallas market. Can you let me know? Is it hot? Is it cold? What's going on? So I'll send over some information, and it's fun when she actually uses it. And so that's kind of what that was about. So, and she's been on a ton because she's so compelling and she communicates so clearly. So it's been a really fun partnership.
Seamless transition coming up right now, right?
Well, I was going to say, why don't take it from me, take it from her. Let's hear how she says it herself.
As a real estate investor, I look for sharp agents who really know their market. Agents who do so much business, they can find me the right investment property and sell it for the most money without drama. When I need real estate advice in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I call Todd Tramonte. His innovative marketing attracts hundreds of buyers every month. Todd guarantees to sell your home over the average price, under the average time, or Todd will buy it for cash. Call the agent I trust, Todd Tramonte, and avoid the drama.
Avoid the drama.
Avoid the drama.
Got that right, sister.
Oh.
She talks about buying it for cash, and I think it's worth taking a quick moment just to talk about that. There's a bunch of companies out there hyping a bunch of stuff up about how they'll pay you full market value for your house with cash right away. Look, we are not going to do that. Here's what we will do. If you would like a quick cash offer for your house just to get the heck out of town quick or to get out of it quick, we'll gladly do that. It will not be for full market value. If you want full market value, we've told you many stories about how our marketing system, our 7-step proprietary marketing system, our over-under guarantee system will help you break all-time records for your sales price and put a ton more money in your pocket than you normally would. That's the best way to go if you want maximum value for your house. Now, if you're in a unique situation where a friend, family member, or someone you love and know has passed away and you got to get rid of a home, or it's in rough shape and you're not ready financially or time investment wise to get it ready, and you would take a discount just to get the heck out of it, we will gladly, I will, one of our investor clients will, someone will make you a quick cash offer to get out of it. Or you can go ahead and get that offer and then put it on the market. And if for any reason things don't go perfectly or your situation changes, you can say, hey, I'll go ahead and take that cash offer now and just use it as a backup. So that's what Barbara's talking about. That's what we're talking about when we say that. She appreciates when people put their money where their mouth is. She's not a fan of recommending or introducing people to an agent that's all fluff and doesn't deliver. And so that's why it's so important for her when she talks about us to share that stuff. So anyway, that's what she was up to.
So talking of a cash deal, actually great that we actually brought that up, because we had a client, in the last week or so, they had a property that they were trying to sell. They were actually doing a new build, so they were building a new property, and they had a very, very tight timeline in order to be able to close on their current home, to be able to go move into the new build home. They were actually going to sell to an investor for $220,000. Like, they had the all cash deal in place. Again, they had 2 weeks to get this done. Well, they gave us a call just to see, hey, on the off chance that there's something y'all could do, is there anything that you could do? We'd love to be able to get a little bit more than what we've already kind of agreed to sell it for, right? Nothing was signed, but it was like, pretty much done. Yeah. Well, we ended up saying we took a look at it, and we're not going to sell somebody yes unless we felt supremely confident.
Right.
Well, we did feel confident, and we got it sold in 3 days for $275,000 with
what?
the buyer paying title, $275,000. It's believable.
What?
I know, exactly. And the best part of it was a cash deal.
Yeah.
So we
It had
found
to be.
somebody, it had to be, but we found the right person. We marketed it in the right way. We really honed in on who we were targeting this home to.
So
and
awesome.
we got them, that's $55,000 more than what they were getting ready to sell it for.
In less than a month.
Yeah.
So this was John, right?
Yep, this was John.
John Kanika on our team. So here's the million-mile-an-hour version of the story, right? This person's like, look, we found a house we fell in love with. Now, by the way, this is a strategy we are very careful to protect our clients of, because once you fall in love with the one you're going to buy, you'll make dangerous choices with the one you're going to sell, right? Because you're like, well, I don't want to lose the one I'm buying, so I'll make these compromises to sell. And so they were about to make a huge compromise. They were just going to sell straight up to an investor just to get out of it so they could get into this new build that they were really in love with. Now, the guy hears me running my mouth on the radio saying, we'll get you more and we'll do it faster.
Typical
Tramonte, talking. So he calls and he basically says, yeah, it's probably too good to be true, but could you actually do better than this, right? Well, John goes and does what John notoriously does and knocks it out of the park and blows this dude's number, which he was cool with that number, blows it out of the water by over $50,000. Now, look, this wasn't easy. The guy said, it's got to be cash. It's got to close in the next 2 to 3 weeks because I got to get into this next house. And I've already got this other transaction about to happen. So you got to move really, really fast. John does his homework, comes back and says, look, I think we can do this. And then goes and does way more than that, all within the timeline, all with cash, so that the guy can still move into the house of his dreams. But he gets to do it with an extra $50,000+. Look, it sounds made up. I know that. We continue to tell you story after story with real people in real places, with agents on our team. You can call and speak to them and get to know them and work with them. These are true stories and they happen every day. If you're thinking about selling or buying and you would like world-class professionals to lead and guide you through the process so you don't have to wing it and just hope for good results, but you can expect great results and have someone else lead and guide and be your expert, call us. 214-310-0008 at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, or text 214-310-0008, or go online anytime, day or night, to overunderagent.com. Obviously, that one sold way over the average price and way under the average time, and we would love to do the same thing for you. Just go to overunderagent.com. You can type into the comments, hey, I want to sell right away, or you can say, hey, we're not going to sell until next spring. Either way, let's start that conversation so we can get a game plan together to create your perfect outcome. Go to overunderagent.com. We'll connect you with one of our go-to experts on the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team to deliver exactly what your dream real estate scenario is. Even if right now it feels like a giant mess, what's the dream scenario of getting you out of that? It might not be your life's perfect scenario, but what's the best way to get you out of the rough spot you're in, or get you into a safer, better financial, healthier investment environment? Go to overunderagent.com, or just save this phone number in your cell phone and you can call it or text it anytime. 214-310-0008. 214-310-0008.
And go over to valuethishouse.com, valuethishouse.com. Get your home valuation in less than 60 seconds. Look, we always say you need to do this at least twice a year. If you've not done it yet this year, go over there now, valuethishouse.com. See what your house would rent for, see what your house would sell for. And if you want something a little bit more customized, just respond to the text message or the email, and we will absolutely make sure that you get taken care of. Valuethishouse.com. Okay, I've got a couple of other little teeny tiny stories, Todd, but I want to build off of a quick question. Mm-hmm. What do you do if a home goes under contract and the appraisal comes in way low?
Okay, we've answered this on the show a few times, and we've got some videos on the YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you a short answer. If you want more, go to tthst.tv. tthst.tv, and there's some videos explaining it. If we're working with a buyer, we have an incredible in-house strategy where that's a good thing for us, and we use that to help our buyer get a lower price. If we're working with the seller, we almost always, and I say almost because I just want to be honest, but 9 times out of 10, probably more, we are able to still get our seller that entire price.
And I have 2 great stories for you. So the first one was, both of these, the appraisal came in low. The first one, we were able to get it so that the buyer paid $5,000 over the appraised price. Right?
Which I love, because by definition, that appraisal value is the maximum value of that home in the current market as determined by a neutral third party. And then we were able to get, for our seller, get the buyer to pay $5,000 more than that, just openly saying, I'll pay more than it's worth, which is great when you're the seller.
And they were happy to do it because they loved the home.
Right.
Like, they wanted to be in that home. So it was still worth it for them.
Sure.
They were going to be there for years and years to come. Right. How about $35,000?
Wait, what?
$35,000. We had another property. It came in like just crazy low. There was some other extenuating circumstances, but John negotiated with the buyers, with the buyer agent, and $35,000 over the appraised price, over the appraised value, is the agreement that they came to.
Yeah. So our seller already got over $35,000 more than the appraisal on their home. Just let that sink in for 1 second, because this is a hot topic all around the market, and has been for the last 9 or 10 years as the market has been steadily in an incline, in a positive momentum. The appraisal came in less than what we sold the house for. And our client, the seller, still received $35,000 over and above the appraised value.
Yep.
If you would like to have agents that are that good on a team that delivers those kind of results day in and day out, help you sell your home, where even when these things happen, even if the appraisal comes in low, you still have a very high likelihood of getting full value or way above appraisal. If that sounds good to you, and you're thinking about selling anytime in the next year, or buying and you want someone to help you on the buy side, go to overunderagent.com right now. Just type a little note that says, here's my plan. Here's how you could help. Overunderagent.com.
I don't know if you've kept the math going in your head over those just 4 stories that we shared. I just did the math because I was curious. 4 stories, $127,000 went into our sellers' pockets that they were not expecting.
Just in 4. And the truth is, it's more than that, because every step of the way, our team is fighting for prorated taxes, lease backs, lower cost repairs, our preferred vendors, which you can find over at treradio.com. All of our recommended pros. They're expediting services. They're saving deals that wouldn't otherwise happen. They're lowering the cost of, roof, plumbing, electrical, and all that. For insurance needs, go to DP Lambert. For roofing, go to Stryker Roofing. For mortgage, go to Patrick Glaros. And if you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, go to our website right now, overunderagent.com. Tell your friends, overunderagent.com. There's no time too soon. We'll be happy to get a plan together with you, overunderagent.com. We'll be back next week with more Texas real estate on WBAP.